All right, we're live. Okay. I'm early. I've already got 2 questions here. Who's watching this right now? Oh, here we go. We got 3 questions coming in here. Okay, so if you want to actually come on webcam and chat with me, and so I can hear your voice and see you, I'll give you the actual link here. I don't know how this is going to work. I'm really not familiar with how this thing works. So anyway, this video is Q&A. So you ask me anything you want to ask me, and I'm going to answer it. Okay. I just had questions up here. Here we go. Okay, first question. This comes from David Kang. He's also in my Pro Singers Vault course. So what would you say the step-by-step process is to build a terrible singer into a good one, or is it different for every person? It is different for every person. I don't know if you're actually on here watching right now, but are you on here, David, right now? If you are, you can come on webcam if you want. We can fit 10 people at once on webcam. So whoever wants to jump up here, you're more than welcome to do that. In answer to your question, though, my friend, it does depend on every person, because everybody starts off at a different place. So for example, the best example I can give you is someone like yourself or someone like myself. Me and you, David, we didn't start out with talent. Okay. We weren't predisposed to singing. I've heard you sing and you've heard me sing, but you haven't heard where I started. And I started pretty similar to where you started, my friend. So I started pretty much pitch deaf, so I couldn't actually match pitches when I started. So my journey is very, very different to someone who naturally has an ear for pitch. You see, say somebody who naturally has range. When we think of a talented singer, someone who's just born with it, we think of someone who can already match pitches and already has enough range to express themselves musically. Okay, they don't need to have 5 octaves or whatever, but they've got to have enough range so that they can sing what they want to sing, right? That's what we think of as a talented singer, someone who's, well, at least that's how I define it, someone who already has the musical instrument working effectively. Think about it. You are the musical instrument, and a lot of our journey, and the reason why I teach, I've got a course on improving range and improving tone. I teach lessons to helping people improving range and tone. I make videos about improving range and improving tone, things like that. Why do we do this? It's because our voices aren't functioning right. Okay. Those of us who are starting off with no talent, we spend a lot of years trying to get our instrument just working. That took me 7 years to just get it to work, okay? Then what comes after that? It's like, shit, now you've actually got to start becoming an artist, okay? It's one thing to be able to, I can hit any note on the guitar right now. Like I can go way up here and go. So the guitar's got a lot of range, okay? The guitar's got a tone too, nice tone. It's got a good tone. It's got good tone, it's got good range. It functions properly. There's nowhere where I'm going to go up where it's going to break, okay? But what happens is, I'm not an artist. I've got to bring the artistry to the instrument. And that's why I tell people, I say, stop wasting years going around YouTube trying to sort out the range by yourself, because you're probably not going to get it done, because most of the information I see is either wrong or too generic to help you. So I say get with a mentor who can show you how to do it, get it out of the way. That way you can start focusing on making music, being an artist. So the journey is going to be long and difficult for someone like you and me. For someone who's got a natural gift for, like there's some people I train, it takes them a year to get to the same place as somebody else where I train. It takes them 2 months because they're starting in a different place. Their voice functions better, or they have a natural talent or ear for some things. So in the next few weeks, I'm going to be uploading some clips of my students, and if you've seen other coaches, you're probably going to be familiar with coaches who show singers who are already good getting better. And at least for me, I never resonated with that. I never could relate to that, because when I started singing, I couldn't sing at all. Like I couldn't, like it sounded like a turkey screaming, right? So I'm going to show you some students who start from zero. And yes, they don't get to a place where they're a celebrity and they're a star yet. I mean, that's not to say they can't get there, but it's going to take a while to get there, right? But you're going to hear them get better, okay? You're going to hear them gain some notes. You're going to hear them get better with their pitch and sound better as a singer. And I want to show that, to show you that you can start from zero and you can become a good singer. Okay, it will take a while if you've got to build everything. It will take a while, but it can be done if you got the right mentor. So because I started at zero, I know every single step. I know how to build pitch from zero, from absolute zero. I know how to build pitch. Most people's advice, when I was trying to learn how to build pitch, the advice I kept seeing on the internet was, oh, just go get your guitar. Get your guitar and just, just match the pitch. There you go. Pitch is better now. That doesn't carry over in the music. You can match your pitches on there, and then you go to sing a song and it's out of tune again. So I have many different ways and protocols to train it. So I hope that answered your question, man. I'll say that's done. If you think that's not fully complete, feel free to ask again. So I'm going to click done on that. No one appears to be coming on the webcam here, so that indicates that there might be an issue with how this works. So I don't know. Does anyone know how this works? So I'm going to have a look here. There must be a way where I can bring some of you up here. Cameraman, maybe this works. As guests join, hide their audio and video. There must be a way I can invite some of you on here. I mean, this is the first time we're doing this, all right? So, okay, I'll just keep going with the questions. All righty, let's see. I'm really sorry about this, guys. I'm new to all this, right? So, I really want to see if I can get you on the cameras here. As guest, that's strange. Okay. All right, I'll keep going. I don't want to hold you up. I don't want to hold you up. Okay, so we're going to keep going. All right, here we go. Questions loading. Kelly. Okay. Also, Phil, is your voice back to 100%? Absolutely not. I've caught some, I think it was laryngitis I got sick a month ago. And ever since then, my voice was really bad when I got sick. I'd lost all my range. I completely lost my falsetto. I couldn't even get above a C4, right? C4 is this note. I couldn't get above that note. It's much better now, but I can't really get above an A4 at the moment. The reason why is because the muscles that control the head voice have become weak from the illness I got. And so those muscles are necessary to take over as you head past the A4, as you head past the G sharp. So my voice is very weak at the moment. It can bridge very lightly. I'll show you. So you'll hear my voice crackle and crack and everything. It's very weak. So I'll go to an A4. It's actually better than what it was. It was really bad yesterday. Yeah, like that. You see that? See that cracks and crackles? So it's not strong enough for me to sing above an A at the moment at all. So I selected that. And that's done. So that's it. So if you want to hear me sing anything super high, it ain't gonna happen today. Okay, David Kang. Kang again. I'll get back to you, David. You've asked a question already. I'm gonna get to some other people. I'll get back to you. Othman Malik. All right, let's see. We got 12 viewers here. If anyone knows how I can add you into on the webcam, let me know, because I'd love to pull you in, and I can hear your voice and I can help you out. So, okay. So, what are the factors? Oh, here we are. Hey, Phil, appreciate this Q&A. You're welcome, my friend. I was wondering how to get better at switching from falsetto to mixed voice. Okay, he's put a clip in here. Oh no, it's somebody else. In the video above, he goes in the falsetto and then F sharp 4 mix. The chest, F sharp 4's hard to sing. Okay, I'm going to pull this up on YouTube. We're going to have a listen. And I hope you can hear this, that I'm going to play it right now. This feels like falling in love. Okay. He says, let me see what he says. Switching from falsetto to mixed voice. In the video above, he goes into falsetto and then F sharp. Okay, I see what you're asking here. You're asking how to start on a high note. That's what you're asking here. So he goes, this feels. You're asking how to get into that, right? So this comes down to something called messa di voce. So it's an exercise where you learn how to fade into notes. So what I do is I make sure I'm supporting before I sing the note. Okay, so let's just isolate the feels. I'm sharp on there. Feels. Wait, is he doing the G? Hang on a second. I think he's actually doing the G. Let me see. Yeah, I was going sharp on that. Sorry about that. I've been singing a lot of Pavarotti lately, and he sings sharp all the time. So maybe I picked it up from there. Okay, so what you do is I set up the support first. With messa di voce, you want to really pay attention to the solar plexus, because that usually will collapse first. So meaning, if you generate your tension all around here, imagine someone's going to punch you, right? You want to firm up all this area, and then also here. And so I tighten here first, and then I start in a very light chest, or even a falsetto. The vowel I set up, the vowel I'm going to do in chest, I set it up in a falsetto first. And then you increase pressure here as you fade it in, and while holding back your breath. Right? So if you can do that, then what you practice is fading out again. Like that. Then what you practice is going from the falsetto note, this feels, going to there. When you do your falsetto note, you have to maintain the support. You can't relax the voice. Otherwise, it's going to be too hard to get your system going again when you go to the next note. So you have to isolate this phrase by itself and go, this feels, and going back and forth. This feels, and then getting your rhythm together. Like as you get better with it, you speed it up to the rhythm with your finger. Have a listen here. Right? So I go, this feels like falling in love. Right? I'm not sure how the song goes, but that's kind of how you do it. This feels, and repeat it. This feels, this feels. You see, I'm keeping the rhythm the entire time. You got to go over it and over it until you don't feel like, oh, until you don't feel like you've got to micromanage it. If you have to micromanage it with your brain, it's not performance ready yet. Okay, so it's got to become very to the point where you can do that. So the whole time I'm keeping this. So this, oops, I'm gonna burp there. Excuse me. This feels okay. So I hope that answers your question. The thing about support is it has to be a relationship. You can't, if you don't have support and you're trying to watch this video and copy what I'm doing, it's probably not going to work for you, because it is something that has to be built up. and you don't just copy the movement of what I'm doing. There is a whole protocol that will have to be built up in order for you to develop it. So support is easy to explain and easy to demonstrate and easy to tell you what to do, but for you to actually develop it may be quite a process. It can take some people a month training properly with, to get it. If you don't train properly, it can take you years. Okay, so I hope that answers your question, my friend. Next one. So, okay, I'll get back to you soon. Actually, I'll get back to you soon, David Kang. I've got to get to everybody else first. So we're gonna go this one here. Please, Phil, can you re-show how we are supposed to keep the support in Messa de Voce? Did you ask that while I was doing that last thing? Okay, so I'll go through that again. All right, so when you do Messa di Voce, and for those who don't know what that means, it's the fading exercise where I went soft to loud to soft. So I go, ah. It's a very advanced exercise, but having said that, I like to get beginners to do it straight off the gate. As soon as they can do it, I like to get you to do it in your comfortable range. It will build elasticity in the vocal cords. And then my connection. Oh, there it is. It will build elasticity in the vocal cords and make your chest flexible. If your chest is flexible, then you won't feel any need to suddenly, like if you're training with a, okay, let me go off for a moment here, okay? If you've trained with a teacher before or any program, CD program book, the most common thing you're going to hear is this. You take your chest voice up, and at some point, you're going to feel like it strains. The comment you're going to get back is, you're pushing chest voice too high. It's time to bridge the head voice, okay? That's the comment you're going to get. Here's the thing. The chest voice is not being pushed too high. You're just getting strain. That's the problem. The strain is the problem, not the chest voice. So the chest voice needs to become flexible. If the chest voice is flexible, it will start to go higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. Around the G sharp A for the male or the C sharp 5 to E5 for the female, there will be a resonance shift and you will feel like you're mixing, but you will still be in chest voice. You will stay in chest voice all the way through, okay? All the way up, it's one voice. So Messa di Voce is a good exercise because it teaches how to relax and thin the chest voice and then how to make it louder and bigger. If your chest voice can go big and then soft on any pitch without strain, you're going to have one hell of a voice, okay? So here's how it works. You have to set up the support first. If I don't do it, that's what's going to happen, okay? What I do is I pick a pitch. I'll go to an E, raise an E. And then I use a tuner to make sure that I hold the same pitch. So you want to go, so you don't want to do this. You don't want to slide up. You want to stay right on the same pitch as you go from soft to loud. Okay, your softest sound to your loudest sound. Now, the support has to set up from the beginning. So what I'm doing is I like to keep wherever your support is weak, you've got to keep a finger to make sure. You tighten the area. So this area is going to be tight. The lower belly is going to be tight. And up here is going to start to get firm. Not so tight that it causes your voice to do this, but it's going to be firm. As I fade it in, I increase all the tension here. And as I fade it out, I'll probably have to increase it even more too. So it's a very demanding exercise. Now, if you don't know, this isn't all there is to it. If you don't know how to keep your soft palate up, you're going to get this. And that's what's going to happen. Your soft palate's going to collapse and your resonance gets caught in the throat. So when we talk about support, support isn't the only thing, right? You've got to get resonance. Resonance comes when the soft palate's in the right position, the tongue's strong. So for example, if I do an E vowel, if my tongue is weak, I'm going to get this. If I go higher, instead of F sharp, right? If I do an E up here and I do it wrong, it's going to go, or like this, like that, or this, right? If I do any of those too long, I'm going to hurt myself. So my tongue, see that? See how my tongue raises up? So there's lots of little elements that go into determine whether you're doing things right. So when people say like, oh, you know, I want some vocal exercises to make me sing higher. If you do the exercises without these kind of elements and subtle details, nothing's going to happen, because nothing happened for me for 7 years. I did this stuff wrong for so long. I did so many scales. I did mum, mum, mum. I did nay, nay, nay. I did R vowels. I did minor, minor minds. I did Z-A-O-L-M-I. I did everything. I did every course out there. The courses aren't bad. What's bad is whether you're doing it right or not. If you do it wrong, the courses do nothing for you. If you do it right, the courses do a lot for you. So it's all about whether you're being taught how to do these little details. That's what matters the most. I hope that answers your question, my friend. Carl Whedon, how you doing, man? It's great to see you here. Everyone check out Carl's channel. I don't know how to type it into you. Just YouTube him up, Carl Whedon. Just YouTube him up. He's a great singer, and he's a vocal teacher too. So check him out. There's a shout out for you, man. Cheers for the comment, my friend. Okay, David Kang, I'll get back to your question right now. Sorry to delay you. What are the factors that contribute into sounding good in terms of timbre or timbre, however you want to pronounce it, and vocal color? Ignoring range. What is it? Is it timbre or timbre? How do you guys pronounce that? Ignoring range and distortion, all the other stuff. What are the factors that contribute into sounding good? Okay, this is an awesome question, because this is a passion of mine. I get people email me all the time with like I get 100 emails a day, okay? And long emails and with recordings attached. And some people are like, why aren't you replying to my question? It's because it takes me a week to get through all the emails. So if it takes me a week to reply to you, that's why. I get these emails, right? And they're like, is this whistle voice? And it's a 2-second clip of someone going, ah! That's it. That's a clip. That's a recording. I get a recording going, ah! And I go, what note's that? Am I singing higher than Mariah Carey? I'm like, you're not singing. All right. That's not singing. So it doesn't count. That's nothing. Don't send me those clips. Okay. So sounding good is the key. Okay. I've got to make this very clear to you, not to be like a prick about it. But the reason why I'm making this very clear is because I built range before I built the ability to sing in tune. Big mistake, huh? It's because building pitch takes longer than building range. Honestly, I can build someone's range in months. But if someone's near tone deaf, it's going to take you probably 2 years before you can sing a song in tune. Seriously. Okay. So sounding good is the absolute key. If you have the biggest range in the world and you can't sing on pitch, you are not a singer. No one's going to call you a singer when you get on stage. But if you don't have much range, but you sound really good and you can sing in tune, you're a singer. Okay. You are a singer. So sounding good, this comes down to imitating artists. So outside of vocal technique, because vocal technique does play a part, proper support and resonance plays a big part in how you resonate your sound. For example, I can sing in a way that sounds like I'm talking, and I can sing in a way that sounds like I'm singing. I'll show you what I mean. This is a concept called singing on the vowel or singing legato. It's very important. So if I'm trying to think of something right now. Whenever I need to sing in front of people, I can't think of any song. Let's go back to that song that the other gentleman brought up here, and I'll show you what I mean. So if I go, I'll skip to somewhere. Now, I don't know the song, so forgive me if I butcher it completely, all right? I'll go back to that part where we did. Yeah, here we go. Where is it? Okay, we'll do it from here. Okay. Okay. Like yeah, I've been feeling everything. Right? There's a way I can sing that where it doesn't sound like I'm singing like this. If I go, yeah, I've been feeling it. Right? if I hit the vowels off, everything, it almost sounds like I'm yelling at you, and you don't really hear the voice kind of float. Whereas if I go, everything, everything. I'm sorry, my voice is wobbling because of what I told you about when I had laryngitis. So, but if I hit it in a different way, like, yeah, I've been feeling, you can start to hear the voice resting. Whereas if I go, yeah, I've been feeling, right? It doesn't sound like singing. So resonance is a key part, because I've got to get the vowel to start to rest. And this is what I was talking about, having a flexible chest voice. So fading in is key to this. Fades or phrasing is a big key. I'm going to show you an example. Peabo Bryson from the Disney song A Whole New World. Don't laugh that it's a Disney song. This guy can sing better than all of you guys put together, okay? And me put together. So this guy's one of the best R&B singers on the planet. All right, so listen to how he sings, and I'm going to show you how everybody else sings when they do this, including the official Disney version. Listen to this. I hope you can hear this. Now, when did you let your heart decide? Right? So he's like, if you listen to the original Disney version in the actual movie, it's like, shining, shimmering, splendid. Tell me, princess, now when did... It's like, it's really, like, sounds awful, okay? Now, sounding good, listen to all these little details he puts on here, the fades and the little phrasing details like this. Like here. I can show you the world, shining, shimmering. So he's not like, shining, shimmering. He doesn't sing it like that. He goes, shining, shimmering, splendid. Tell me, princess, now when did you last? He goes, tell me, princess. He doesn't sing it straight. You see what I mean? He doesn't sing it straight. It's, tell me, princess, now when did you last? There's all these little fades and things on the notes. These are so important. This is called phrasing, and this is what will make you sound like a singer or make you sound like you're just some dude speaking notes. If you sing heavy metal and rock music, this is your priority, not the high notes, because most heavy metal and rock music doesn't have this type of phrasing in it. Except there's a very few exceptions. There are some great heavy metal singers that do this. But chances are, if you're just singing that stuff, you're not going to be doing this stuff. Most heavy metal guys need to study this stuff and then go back to heavy metal, and you'll sound 10 times better. Okay. All right. I hope that answers your question, David. Let's move on. Okay. I'll get back to you, Kelly, because you've asked the question already. Jay, how you doing, my friend? Hey, Phil, it's Jay. How you doing, bro? As I am a baritone, I underestimated the head voice. How can I sing in head voice? Very light head voice from B4 to E5. Well, that depends what your definition of head voice is. I've made a video on the difference between head voice and falsetto. So I don't know what you're calling head voice. Are you calling head voice the non-breathy falsetto sound that sounds like this? If that's what you're calling head voice, because everybody calls it different, okay? Some people call head voice a connected sound that resonates in the head, like it's actually resonating in the head, but I would still consider that chest voice, okay? Or some would even call that mixed voice. So how can I sing in head voice from B4 to E5? I'm gonna assume that you're talking about mixed voice, a connected sound. It really depends, man. I need to hear what you're doing to be able to tell you what you're doing wrong and where you've got to pick it up. So it depends. It depends on the individual. So I need to hear you. If you could record something and then post a link up here, I can tell you. So do a recording now, post it up, and I'll show you. So I'll edit. That's done there. Sorry, I couldn't be more helpful about that. Yes, Phil, but I don't know what you're saying yes to, connected or falsetto. So Okay. Hey, it's Mr. Mayor. Hey, Carlos. How you doing, bro? Okay. Kelly, I have that issue all the time with the vowels and not hitting them properly. What issue? You've got to be more specific, because I'm going at 1,000,000 miles a minute here, and I see your answers coming in after I finish talking about something, so I don't know exactly what you're referring to. Okay, here we go. Nam Gill. I hope I pronounced your name right, my friend. Hi, Phil. I've been wondering this for a while. Sometimes I think about so many techniques and obsess, and I can't focus on the actual singing. I end up distracting myself with all kinds of thoughts. Do you think I need to keep it simple? Yes, you do need to keep it simple. But here's the thing. You need to have a plan, man. Like, you need to have a plan. Who's mentoring you? Like, who's giving you the techniques? What are you doing? I need to know more about what you're doing and what you're doing wrong. You do need to keep it simple, but you need to keep it correct at the same time. So I would say you need good mentorship, someone, a teacher who really understands how to keep you going in the right direction. So but yes, keeping it simple is the best. Always think about the music. Always think about your goals. Okay, what are your goals? So people ask me, like, oh, I want to build my high range. I'm like, why do you want that for? And you don't need a grandiose reason. The reason could be, I'm trying to make songs and I hate changing the melody lower. I hate, because my voice can't go high enough. That's fine. Cool. Build your range, right? That's cool. I'm not saying that you need a special reason to build a range, but you got to know why you're doing this, not just doing it because everybody says you got to do it. Okay. Figure out what you need for your songs that you want to make, and then that becomes your priority. So I never sought out building range to get like a 7-octave voice or whatever. I needed more range because the songs I was composing needed more high notes than what I could do. That's the only reason. So I urge you to learn only enough of what you need. Learn just enough to do what you want to do. That's it. Don't go further. Okay. Richard, how you doing, Richard? I like your questions. They're very philosophical. What kind of mindset and habits should your students have to steadily become great singers? I would say patience is one, because patience is a big one, because depending on your issues, some of the issues are going to be very difficult, especially the people I train. Like, people who come to me, I don't get those. I barely ever get those students who are like perfect and they just need one thing. You know how you see those videos of like famous teachers training students and they're just tweaking little things, and like they already sound good and they're just like tweaking one little thing in it. I barely train those people. I train the people who like have either never sung anything in their life, have never yelled in their life, or have absolutely no pitch, or who have tried singing for like 20 years, been with every teacher, and they still can't sing above D4 or E4, or late in the case of ladies, still can't get above C5. Okay. I train those people. So I'm going to speak to those people because those are the majority of people I train to. Patience is the big thing. But having said that, patience can kill you. You can be too patient. Okay. If you've been training 10 years and you're still stuck with the same shit, you're training 1 year and you still don't know how to bridge from chest to head and keep it connected. You don't know mixed voice. You don't even know support, right? You're training 1 year. Then I would say you're too patient, and you've got to find someone that knows how to teach this to you and knows how to speak your language, because this stuff does take a while to build, but it's the musicianship that takes a while to build. The actual technical skill is quicker to build than like I see people saying like they've been like I got a student, right? He's about 60 something years old. He's been stuck on C4 D4 his entire life until he met me, and then within a few lessons he's got like 5 extra notes on his range. Okay, so I can't even remember what I was trying to say. So with that, you've got to understand that if you the speed, that's what I was talking about. The speed, it doesn't take that long to build those qualities. What's going to take a while is making that range sound like CD quality. Okay, being able to open your mouth and having something sound like it belongs on an album in one take. That's what takes the years. Building the range doesn't take the years. It's building, let's say you're stuck on an E4, to get your full voice up to E5 and to be able to use that in songs on command takes probably about 2 years. Okay. That's really not that long. And most of you have been trying to teach yourself for longer than 2 years and haven't got those results yet. What's going to take you 10 years is being able to make that range sound like CD quality. So I would say a big mindset that you've got to have is being patient, but not being too patient. And more importantly, having intuition. You've got to have intuition. You can't just go on any video on YouTube and then just believe randomly, just, you know, mindlessly believe what people say. And just like, you got to have focus. You can't just be like, oh, this article said, don't push. This article said you should never tighten the belly. This article said that you should never take your chest higher than E4. This article said this. I don't give a fuck what the articles say, man, because it's bullshit. All right. So you've got to have a critical thinking skill. You've got to be able to get in touch with your feelings, your body, and know very sensitively what's working, what's not. And that's how I was able to teach myself. I'm one of the rare people that was able to teach myself. Okay. I did get tools and I did study different things, but I got mainly the results for myself. So I hope that answers the question. On a different day, I might have a different answer. That's how I roll with these kind of things. So I hope that answered it. So let's move on. So we go. Okay, Carlos, how you doing, man? Why is it that my voice will go through a period of rapid improvement? I can suddenly sing Bruno Mars, but after that, I either stagnate or start losing. How do I train for consistency? I belt better in the AM than PM. Should I do full voice workouts? This can depend on a few things because, okay, for those who don't know, Carlos is actually training with me and he's getting quite advanced with his voice. The more advanced you get, the more subtle and harder to pinpoint your problems become. Okay. They become very small things. There are likely, I haven't seen you for a while, Carlos, but there's going to be likely small things in your vowels that you're doing wrong that's actually irritating your voice so that when you come back in the afternoon, the voice doesn't want to respond. That's likely what it is, because I used to have the same thing. And for me, it was actually my U vowel that was doing it. For me, my U vowel was like 2% off. Sometimes 2% off can be a huge difference. Okay. What I mean is by 2% is literally with my mind, I just go, and then suddenly it works. Okay. That's sometimes all it takes. For some people, for some things. For other things, it's more drastic things. So I would say it's probably there are some small details going on. So next time we hook up, I mean, we'll look at it. But this is going to be like this for a bit with you, Carlos, because you're not doing things perfectly yet. So you got to expect imperfect results. I would say, though, that remember in your case was that you kind of got a similar illness to me and you actually lost your voice. You had to build it all back up again. That you had laryngitis as well, I think, or something. So in that case, you will lose your voice for like 4 weeks. My voice has been gone. It's only just starting to come back after 4 weeks. Okay. Gabrielle, how you doing, bro? You have mentioned that you trained yourself as a singer. What really made you see good improvements? I would say, and I'm saying this for myself, I don't think this is going to be helpful for you, but for me, I'm kind of a different animal. I don't do well with listening to others. Okay. Whenever I listen to others, I always get taken off track, no matter what it is. Right. So with singing, I just intuitively knew things or suspected things. And everybody else was saying, no, that's going to hurt you. That's going to damage your voice. That's wrong. That won't build your range. You'll kill yourself. And I trusted them. Like, for example, when I first started singing, I already knew how to support, just intuitively. Some people just know how to support, because usually people who are used to singing loud have a natural tendency to support the voice in some way. And I kind of naturally had that because I was in thrash metal bands, and I did do some hardcore music for a bit. I'm not even into that music, but I did that for a bit because I was trying to get experience. So like I just joined a million bands when I was like 20. Okay. And I was just shouting, like it's just yelling. I was supporting. I was doing a lot of things wrong, but I was supporting. Then at some point I decided, hey, I got to start to learn how to sing properly, because the stuff I wanted to do, like shouting sounded good when I did hardcore music and thrash metal, but shouting didn't sound good when I wanted to make my music, which had more melodical structure. I would go on internet forums and books and CD programs, and the first thing they say is don't push. Well, the problem is that the way I interpreted don't push was to mean this. As I go up the scale, this is what don't push means to me. And this is what don't push means to most people. And these people don't understand this, is that the way you talk to somebody will cause them to interpret it in a certain way. So I'm very careful when I teach how I speak. I speak differently to each person. One person, I'll tell them to scream their head off. The other person, I'll tell them to back off and let the voice go. It depends how you take the information. So when someone says don't push, it means this to me. I'm not pushing anything. I'm letting the voice go. Literally letting it go. Literally. I'm not doing anything to my voice. That gets you nowhere if you do that sound. It doesn't do anything. Okay? Because I'm letting my voice go to falsetto too early. Bridging doesn't work until you reach a certain point. Okay? So I had to untrain my support, because people were telling me that there should be no tightness in the belly at all. Nothing. Should be completely relaxed. If you do that, you won't get very high. The highest you'll get is maybe a D sharp 4 or something. So if I get to E while relaxing, can't do it, you know. So I went around. I call this a merry-go-round, where you go from one thing to the other, you know. So what really helped me the most was, after about 7 years of getting nowhere, was kind of just going, fuck all this, right? I'm going to just spend a while doing what I think it should be done. And I took the tools that I had learned from SLS, Singing Success, Mastering Mix, Ken Tamplin's program, Breaking the Chains, Jamie Vendera's program, James Lugo's program, many other programs, books, things like that. I took all the tools, because they all had good advice, and I just did them in my own way. And things started to work. 3 years away from forums, away from the internet, away from books, away from things, and just doing it my way, I figured things out. And I found that the biggest problem is the way people explain things, okay? So a teacher may know what they're talking about, but they may not be able to explain it to you. And when they're explaining it to you, they may not be able to read the actual visual cues on your face and your body language to tell if you're understanding it or not. I had teachers that were telling me stuff, and I'm standing there, I don't understand what they're saying, and they can't tell that I don't understand. And I would say that's a bad teacher. A good teacher can read body language, can read social cues, I can look at someone and just read them, and I can go, he's not getting it. I've got to explain it differently. Okay. So you've got to find someone that has that skill. I would say that that's what a real teacher is, someone who has that skill, the ability to self-teach and the ability to read, almost read your mind. Okay. And be able to hear your voice and feel your voice better than you can yourself. I can hear things in my students' voices that they can't hear. I go, did you see how your voice did that? And they go, no. I go, your voice did that. I can hear it and I can feel it. So that, if you can start to feel what your voice is doing, the hardest thing is that when you're training, you don't know what your voice is meant to be doing when you're starting. Here's my advice. You want to learn how to get your chest voice as high as it can go and as flexible as it can go without straining. You're probably going to reach a point where it won't go higher and you're going to feel like it's got to flip into falsetto. There is a point where you can flip it in the falsetto and it doesn't flip. It actually stays connected. For most males, that's not going to happen though until about the G sharp A. Okay, if you do it earlier than that, it's most likely won't work. So if I do it on the E4, when most people try to do it, that will never connect properly like that. Okay, if I do it up here, I'll see if I can do it today because my voice is from when I was sick. I did the same flip there. Did you see how it stayed connected? You couldn't even tell I flipped, really, right? I did the same thing that I did down here, man. Up here it works because here is where it's meant to happen for my voice. It's going to be slightly different for everyone. It might be a note down or a note up. Like some tenors will actually be a bit higher than that. But here's the thing. When my voice is in shape, that transition, you can actually move it up even higher. I can get that transition to go up to the C sharp 5, okay? I first started down the F4. So where you transition, this is why it's called the vocal bridge. It's a bridge that starts off weak and it will feel like you're flipping. This is why the SLS stuff is good, because if you're trying to build that bridge there on the A4, the consonants will actually help you keep the sound connected. Like, mom, 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 mom. Here's the thing. If you're trying to do that really low on C4, like I hear people on the Singing Success forums and everywhere, they try to do this. Where is the C4? Here. Ma, 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 ma. If you're doing that, your voice doesn't go anywhere. You can do that for 18 years. It will stay in the same spot. Okay. You have to have pressure in the voice, strength in the voice. So the best way to train is loudly at first, not light. The reason why is because if you train light, you will make progress with the light voice. And as soon as you go loud, it will fall apart again. You'll be straining in the same spot. The quickest way is to train the loud voice and learn to make the loud voice thinner and softer. Okay. That's where I talked about the messa di voce. If you can do that, you will start to get it higher and higher and higher, and you'll find that it would naturally transition nicely around the A4. And it depends on where your voice is. Ladies, this will be more around the C sharp 5 or even the E5 in some cases. Ladies, if you're trying to transition below the C5, no. Okay. Long answer. So, okay. I'll quickly answer this. I'll move on to the rest of you guys. Okay. So what made you really see good improvements? Technically, I answered your post kind of philosophically. I'll just give you some technical details. The first was staying in my chest voice. That was the biggest thing that helped me. And vowel modifications and supporting properly and keeping the soft palate open. Those things made a huge difference for me. I'll tell you why. If you modify the vowel properly while keeping the soft palate up, the voice will start to thin out in the chest voice, and then the range will start to go higher and the larynx will start to relax a little bit better. If the larynx, this is if you do it properly. If you do it wrong, you will not see any of the benefits I said. You will try to do the movements and you would just be like, I don't know what Phil's talking about. It doesn't work for me. It's not that it doesn't work for you. It's just this, you're doing it wrong. Okay, that's what it is. So these things have to be done properly. As I go higher, and some people are like, I don't want to modify my vowel. Well, as you get better, you don't really have to modify that much, really. It can be extremely subtle. For example, I can go really wide. I'm not modifying nothing there, right? But I didn't learn that way. I learned it by modifying. I went, okay? So modifying the vowel really helps. Learning how to open the jaw properly for the vowels. The key is you want to keep the larynx relaxed. That's the key here, okay? That's really what speech level singing is supposed to be about. It's not supposed to be sing the way you speak, okay? Like some people like, sing like you speak. the problem is I speak in a way that gives me a sore throat. I had to change how I speak. If I sing that way, I used to speak down here. People email me, I've got a low voice. You know, your stuff's not going to work for me. Yeah, well, I had a low voice too. This is how I used to speak. If I sing like this, sing like you speak. Rubbish, right? So it depends how you take the advice. That's how I take the advice. So it doesn't work for me. Some people take the advice in a way where it does work. So you got to really, the singing voice comes first and the speaking voice stems from that. I learned how to speak for hours like this without hurting my voice from using my singing technique. So you see, I speak more up here in the mask. All right. And here's another thing. People who teach pharyngeal voice, mask and stuff like that. You don't want to be doing it like this and shoving your sound forward. The brighter you make your sound, the deeper you make your sound at the same time. You see how the sound's still balanced? It never gets too bright and it never gets too dark. It stays right in the middle. The brighter I get, the deeper I get. And because of those two things, it gets louder. Okay? So I get brighter and deeper. Whenever, here's a tip for you. Whenever you get advice from a teacher that says, make it brighter, you have to also make it deeper. Otherwise, you'll get a raised larynx and you'll start to pinch the sound. If they also tell you make it deeper, you've got to keep the brightness in the sound, the clarity. You can never do this. Oh, that's a muffled sound that won't build the voice. It's got to be clear. It's got to be clear. That was better that time. So there we go. Long answer. All these answers are going to be long. Okay. Is mixed voice not strained at all, or am I supposed to feel a bit of strain in mixed voice? Hang on a sec. I'm going to pull it up here. After singing for a while in mixed voice, it's actually my soft palate that gets irritated, not my throat. It's a very mild irritation. No, you shouldn't feel any strain ever when you sing. Now, strain, just to be clear, I'm not talking about you shouldn't feel a push. People say, oh, there should be no push in the voice. There should be a push. You have to push the voice to be able to sing properly. But it's where you push the voice that counts. I push from here. I push a lot from here, man. If I want to go loud, I push like hell from here. Okay, let me see if I can do something. I'm trying to think of something. Let me see something. Okay, let's try like John Legend. You know, if I want to sing really loud, if I want to sing soft, all of me loves all of you. That's light. There's a bit of a push here, very slight. Okay, but if I want to go loud, watch how much I push. All of me loves all of you. Oh, you see how I bear down for it? Oh, if I don't do that, oh, it starts to thin. Okay. If you want it to thin, that's fine. But if you want it to be strong, you gotta add that strength down here. So you shouldn't feel strain though. Strain is when you feel irritation or tightness in the larynx, the tongue, the throat, or the soft palate. If you're feeling it in the soft palate, that can sometimes be a little bit of a weird one. It's probably because you're blowing air as you're singing louder. That could be it. I don't know. I have to hear you doing this. So if you've got a recording, post it up. It could be that you're blowing air up there. So here's a recommendation for you. Exhale before you sing. Go. Don't breathe. All of me loves all of you. No breath. Okay. But you're gonna have to post a recording if you want detailed feedback. My real talent is my ear. Okay, so like that's where I can hear shit that you probably can't even hear. Which is funny considering when I started, I was like pitch deaf. I've noticed a phenomena, by the way, that people who tend to have bad pitch naturally tend to be, it's because they're listening for different things. So whatever you focus on, you start to improve in life. Like whatever you look at, whatever you cast your attention to is where your effort goes to. Okay. And people who tend to have bad pitch, it's usually because when they grow up and listening to music, they're not listening for melody or melody structure. They're actually listening for tone and texture. And I was like that. I would, when I used to listen to music, I would listen for layers, like how the chords stacked onto the drums and the bass and the actual tone of the singer. I've never paid attention to the actual melody. Whereas I notice people who have really good pitch tend to not be hearing those other details, the textural details. So whatever you're good at and whatever you're lacking, you know, it's like this. You got to go this way, and then the other guys have to go this way. So that's just an observation I've noticed. Morgan, how you doing, man? He's also in the Pro Singers Vault. I sing 6 days a week, and 1 day a week I rest. But when I start singing again, new week, I can't mix, or that I strain a lot. Is this normal in the beginning? Does my body forget how to mix, or is it the muscles? This can be normal sometimes. If my voice is doing really well and I just take 2 days off, it usually takes me longer to get it back into gear again. It'll actually be kind of shit when I wake up. It'll be rubbish, and it takes me like 10-20 minutes to get it back to working again. So this can be normal, but it could also be a sign of something else. Okay, it could also be a sign that you're doing something wrong, and then your voice is actually recovering in that time. And it could be that. From having heard you though, I don't think it's that, because I've heard you in the course. You're doing quite well. So I think it's probably more of a case of you taking a few days off. So in that case, go very lightly through at first, or rather not going lightly, just sing normally, but stay within your comfortable range longer before you decide to traverse into the high range. And I think that's what's going to help you get that working. Okay. Let's see. All right, let's see. Okay, Kelly, let's see. I noticed that whenever I try to support from below, solar plexus tightens as well. How would I fix this? You don't want to fix that. That's fine. You need pressure all through there. And in fact, if you don't have enough pressure in the solar plexus, your voice probably won't work. It will probably collapse. Like if I tighten here and don't tighten here, and I try messa di voce, you'll see what happens. It's really, really telltale in messa di voce. And I go up here, gonna have sharp, and I go. Wait, that's not even the right pitch. Yeah, there we go. So if I don't do it up here, it actually wasn't as bad, but if I do it higher, you see how it starts to crackle? It's because I'm losing pressure up here. If I put my pressure back in here, see how it was way smoother? So pressure up here does matter, but however, you've got to be careful up in the solar plexus, because if you tighten that too hard, it can tend to invite more tension up here and in the shoulders, and some people get that. So if your voice does this, you're overdoing it. No matter how hard I tighten here, there should be no change in my voice or tension up here, right? I'm tightening. So what you can do sometimes is when you're singing is do stuff like this, or jumping, like actually jumping, like stand up and jump and sing. And if you feel like this is what's going to happen, I sometimes get people to do this and sing. And what they do is they'll be like, as soon as they'll go, and they'll stop because they feel like they need to grip on. You shouldn't feel that. You shouldn't feel like you need to grip onto anything. You should be able to jump up and down like that, okay? Because the pressure is down here. When people say, oh, you're pushing too much, you've got to realize, like, your body's trying, like if you get strained, your body's trying to give you a message. It's trying to say, you need to do something. You need to anchor the sound. You need pressure in the sound. And since you don't know where to do it, it will try to do it in undesirable places, like up here. So you've got to take the signals of your body, not as a malicious thing, but as it's trying to help me, but it doesn't know how to help me. Okay, that's the message you need to take from this. Okay. Hey, Carl, how you doing, man? Oh, sorry, this is actually from Carl. This is from Gabrielle. I've been told a lot of times that we should lift our soft palate. I've also heard that this is not good because we block out head resonance. That's false. It doesn't block out head resonance. It gives you head resonance. Have a listen. Because well, I'll let you listen and then I'll describe it. So you'll hear head resonance if I lift my soft palate. If I don't lift the soft palate, you'll hear nasality. Okay, if I come up, if I go, yeah, can you hear it gets really bright? Oh, it's ringing from my head because the soft palate's up. If I close it, oh, that's a closed soft palate. You see how muffled that became? Oh, it's because the sound's being pushed to the nose now. If I raise the soft palate, it blocks the nasal cavity and sends the resonance to the head. See, nothing's changing now because I've blocked off this whole area. The resonance comes up here. But here's the thing. You still get the nice pharyngeal resonance in the cheeks as a sympathetic vibration, meaning it doesn't, the sound isn't there, but it sympathetically vibrates there. You don't need to know these kind of things. I'm really not even interested in the science and stuff. I just do it by sound. But you know, even dark vowels, it has a heady tone to it, right? It's not nasal and it's bright. And you could even hear the pharyngealness in it, the mask kind of sound. Even if you darken the sound, you want to keep the pharyngeal sound in there. If you don't have the pharyngeal sound, you'll lose the clarity. If you lose the clarity, you'll be going muffled. You have too much air in the sound. You won't have clarity or projection, and it'll sound kind of like Michael McDonald. He's a great singer, though. I love the guy. So, for example, if I take the pharyngeal sound out, oh, it's going to sound like that. Oh, I'm not nasal, but I'm not bright, and I need the brightness in there. Even if I don't want a bright tone, I need just enough brightness to keep it clear. Like if I want it dark, oh, it's a dark R vowel, right? Like if I want to sing, let's say I want to sing really dark, like same bad, but it feels just a little bit bigger now. It's still clear and still bright, even though it's dark. Instead of same bad, but it feels just a little bit bigger now. You see the difference there? In both cases, I'm still raising the soft palate, getting the resonance up. So whoever told you that raising the soft palate blocks head resonance, full of shit. Okay. All right. Lack of a better word. Sorry if that comes off rude, but let's see what's next. Okay, MC Carlos, how you doing, man? I've seen your comments on my YouTube before. Thanks for coming along. Hey, Phil, what's compression and how can I help my singing? Okay, compression, it's simply this. Compression is keeping the sound strong and non-breathy, solid. So this is not compression. I'll show you what losing compression means. I'm still in my chest voice, but you see how it's really airy and it's not solid. It's not clear. Like most people will say, oh, you're going to go to falsetto. It will go into the direction of falsetto, but I can stay in chest and do this sound. I actually learned how to do this sound all the way up to the high C, like this. Let's see. It will go to falsetto at some point, though. But that is going to falsetto, but it's actually connected to the chest. It's just there's no compression on it, which means if you try to sing a song, that's how you're going to sing. You know, like let's say Michael Jackson song. You know, like I wanna rock with you. See the tension I get in my neck when I try to use that sound? I wanna rock with you. You're going to damage your voice. That's not using compression. Breath compression is what I'm using to keep my speaking voice like this. So if you think about going louder, I'm going louder now. breath compression is where you start to hold back the breath. And so your vocal cords, which are like a V shape and they sit inside your throat, when they come together, they have to resist breath. Okay. And that's what breath compression is. It creates pressure against the cords. The more pressure, the more power you get. This doesn't mean blowing more air. This means the opposite. It means holding back more air. Okay. To demonstrate, this is breath compression. Holding your breath. If I want to go, yeah, I actually completely hold back my air when I do that. People say things like, oh, but you know, you need to keep the breath flowing. Okay. I'm going to demonstrate no air in my lungs. Yeah. I can get the same power without the strain, without the breath. Now, there is breath in the sound, but it's just enough to get the sound done. And I don't accomplish that by pushing breath into the sound. Okay? I don't accomplish that by breathing into the sound. I accomplish it by actually using as little air as I can. So when I'm speaking, I'm actually using more air than when I sing. Okay? So if I'm coming up, breath compression means I've just got to keep it in chest voice like this. If I come up, so when I get up here, I don't want to go, I want to keep it in chest. The way I do that is not by blowing air. I don't want to go, right? So compression is where you keep that solid tone to it. Initially, when you're learning this, your voice is going to be very loud. Okay, that's how it's going to be. If you want to sing light, you still have to do it this way. The ability to sing light and high without leaving your real voice, without going to falsetto, is the last skill your voice is going to be able to do, because that indicates that you can keep the sound together with the thin, like in a thinner quality. Most people, when they try to go thin, the whole thing collapses because they haven't learned, you know. So that's what's going to happen when you first try to do it. Your voice is going to collapse. So it's best to learn this on a loud volume. I hope that answers your question. And by the way, the distortion I was getting there, that's from high levels of compressing the breath. Okay. Compression doesn't mean it's going to distort. It just means that if you want to get to distortion, that is a way that you can get to it. Okay. Let's see, Martin. How you doing, dude? Sometimes when I sing many songs in my higher register, I start feeling a tickling in my palate. After that, my voice starts getting weaker. What may be causing it? How can I solve it? I suspect I'm not masking properly. There's no recording, bro. You're going to post a recording. It could be a million things. Okay. I've got to hear it. So if you could record something quickly and chuck me a link up here, I'll be happy to help you and have a listen. I'll just try and guess off the top of my head. You might be losing the brightness, the clarity in your vowels as you sing higher. This is actually a problem I used to have, but for me, it didn't cause me any pain. It just prevented me from singing high. So for example, if you're going up high, actually not like that, more like this. If it starts getting a bit muffled as you sing higher, or throaty, that's you losing the clarity in the sound. So let's do a song for a better example. Let's go to a song. What song should we do? I'll chuck on. Let's just go back to John Legend. Okay, so we'll go, for example, I don't know the key, but so if I go like, my head's under, I think that's not the right key. My head's under water, but I'm breathing fine. Now, if you go to a high note like this, you're like that, see, that's kind of muffled slightly. That will start to decrease your range within an hour. You find that you can't hit the high notes. So it's going to, if you don't want it that loud, it's going to go thinner. But it's still going to be clear. You're crazy and I'm out of my mind. So when I sing, I'm still feeling it kind of up here. I'm basically singing. When I sing, I basically sing like with this sound, but because this sound doesn't sound pretty, I also deepen the sound at the same time. So I'm singing like this, but notice when I do it like that, it doesn't sound weird anymore. It sounds more of a natural sound. So if I sing, you're crazy, right? That's the high resonance that you need, but you also need the depth to balance it out. You're crazy and I'm out of my mind. Like that. So without hearing you though, it's a guess. By the way, if you don't get that bright ring in the sound, you will get too much breathiness in the sound. Naturally, it would just happen. Okay, let's see. It's really hot in this room, so I'm sweating like crazy. Okay, this question from Gabrielle. Hey, Phil, I have been always struggling with my vocal balancement. That's not a word, dude. I mean, how do we know the correct amount of breath, support, compression to apply? It's something you just get through experience. And if you're asking a question like that, you need a lesson, right? You need a lesson with me, because that indicates that you're very lost. Seriously, man, like that question, how do you know that the amount you need is the least amount to get the job done? That's the amount you need. Sometimes with support, it's more than what you think. Sometimes you think you're supporting, you actually need double sometimes. Like sometimes I'll have students, they will try to sing something and they'll be like, oh, I can't hit that. I've got a bridge now. And I'll be like, no, you're just not supporting right. Once they support it, it's like, oh, my voice just stays connected. Oh, that was actually kind of easy. But that's not always the answer. It's just in some cases it is. In other cases, that's not the answer. Sometimes the support's there. Sometimes the support's there, but they're blowing the air, and so they get irritated throats. In regards to compression, it's the least amount of breath that you can get the sound with. So if you can exhale all of your air and practice singing like that, that will teach your body to use little as least as possible. You want to be able to hold your breath without sounding like you're holding your breath. If you sound like you're holding your breath, there's a problem there. So if I'm like, you're crazy, and if I sound like that, it's not good. You're crazy, and doesn't sound like I'm holding my breath there, right? But I don't want to be like, that's me blowing air at you. That's going to kill my voice. That's going to give me vocal nodes, right? Freddie Mercury. That's how it happened with him. Okay, so MC Carlos, how will I know my chest voice is getting stronger? It will go higher and it will be louder. That's the answer there. Your chest voice will go higher. Let's see. What else? How can I be able to build a strong chest voice? I've already kind of answered this. You need good support. Okay, support's going to be there. Your vowels have to be very clear and deep at the same time and loud. And you have to use the least amount of breath to do it. Your soft palate's got to be up as you're singing. Okay, so if you're doing an R vowel, that won't build your range. None. You could do that for 5 years. This is what's going to happen. So I can hear, as soon as people do a sound, I can hear if they're going to be able to go higher with that sound or not. So watch what happens. My jaw's not open, right? I'm going, that sound is collapse. It's, right? That will do nothing for you. Okay. Instead, at least for the R vowel, I see the back of my throat opening. So the more volume I throw into it, the more I feel like there's pressure lifting up my throat, the actual soft palate, the dangly thing. I feel that. So it's a relationship that develops. Support is less about like, oh, I'm tightening my belly and nothing's changing. That's because you haven't developed the relationship, the connection between the support and the voice. There's a connection that develops over time where they directly affect each other. it's a connection that starts to develop. Okay, this is why they say keeping it a connected voice, because the voice has to develop a relationship. Resonance. When I talk about resonance, people always throw the word around like, oh, better resonance, good vocal resonance. What the hell does that mean? Okay, what does resonance mean? Resonance, all it means is this: the voice has to be very clear and it has to be very ringing. So if you want a deep sound, it has to be very clear and it also has to ring. If you want a very bright sound, it has to be deep at the same time. So if I sing an E vowel, see, it's deep, but it's also bright. It's not E and it's not oo. Okay. And you've also got to be able to move from vowel to vowel. Do you see when I got all the way back to E, it sounded the same? It didn't sound like this. That time it sounded different because I lost the clarity as I moved from vowel to vowel. If I lose the clarity when I try to sing a song, you're going to find that certain vowels are going to collapse on you. Like if I go, cause all of me, it's going to collapse on the E vowel. All of me loves all of you. Right? There's going to be certain spots where you feel the voice drop out or tighten. And that indicates what vowel you've got to get better at doing. So vowel modification is another one, because as you go higher, the vowel, the throat has to change in a certain way. Like if I do an oo vowel or an o vowel, the o vowel is a good one. I'll show you the o vowel, what I mean. As I go higher, oh, most people do that. Oh to they open up. Oh, because they can't keep it on the o anymore. It's going to strain. So instead of letting the vowel do this and get wider, you have to always push the vowel into a point. Oh, I went oh. Same with E. And I don't let it go to You'll hear some teachers say, oh, you don't need vowel modifications. You just got to keep the vowel the same. Well, that's what vowel modifications do. The point of doing vowel modifications is to keep it the same. And I guarantee you, if you train the students I train and you tell them, oh, just keep it the same, they're not going to do it. They're going to go, yeah. So we've got to remember, we're not always talking to great singers who just need a little tip here. We're talking, some people need to learn all this shit from scratch, man. And you don't get, it's not good advice to go around like, oh, you just be natural and just sing the way you speak and take it up. Some people are going to do it like this then. What's that? Right? So you got to teach all these things. So the point of vowel modifications isn't to make the vowel weird. It's actually to keep the vowel the same. So if I want to sing O, like O vowel, the O vowel, I've got to do things to make the O vowel sound like an O vowel as I go higher. So if I'm up here, oh, sorry, oh, I have to do things to make it sound like an O up there. Otherwise, oh, it's going to go to oh, I'm going O to O. I'm actually singing oo with the mouth still open. Same with the E vowel. If I don't change it, E, that's what's going to happen. And then you're going to think, oh, it's too high for my chest. So I'm going to have to move it into, I'm going to have to bridge there. You don't have to bridge there. It's too early to bridge there. You will not have any power if you bridge there. Instead, you've got to open the jaw. Now, most people will say E goes to E or E goes to A. That's true. That's correct. But what's going to happen if you don't train the tongue is it's going to sound like this. And it doesn't sound like an E anymore. So you actually got to train the tongue to raise in the middle. So I do go to A, but I raise the tongue up. And I can sing a pure E up high. Okay, so that's kind of, and the more importantly, more importantly, Carlos, is not what do you need to train, it's how do you get there? That's really the question, man, because like when I was struggling for 7 years, I knew what I was meant to do, but I didn't know how to get my voice to do it. Teachers would say to me, oh, you're straining. You've got to keep it the same all the way up. It's like, I know I got to do that, but how the hell do I do it? Right? I know I'm not meant to strain. I know the voice is meant to thin out and go up high, but how? How do you do it? Right? Oh, just do these exercises every day. 5 years, no change. Because I'm doing the same mistakes. Okay, that's the problem. The mistakes, the little tiny mistakes that the teacher can't even hear, and they just go, oh, you just need to do it more. You just need to practice a bit more. Worst advice ever. Right? You don't just mindlessly fly through scales. You've got to hear where the imbalance in the voice is occurring and then deal with it. Okay. So I see people, like for example, here's an example, right? Some people will sing like this. They'll go, let's do a different song, let's do Sexual Healing, man. Let's Marvin Gaye, right? Or if there's a rock song, because I know some of you guys are rock singers and you want to hear me do a rock song instead of just like pop and R&B and stuff. So what's a rock song that doesn't go too high today? Because my voice ain't in shape, because when I was sick, my voice can't go above an A today. So what's a song? A good rock song. I'm trying to think of one, because all the rock songs I like are really high. So let me see. Oh, let me see. What's all right? Well, you guys can suggest me one while I'm and I'll do something else. So let me go to some Marvin Gaye for a sec. So we'll go. Let's get a Stevie Wonder. All right, I'll show you something here. Superstition, to kind of explain what I mean about how is more important than what. Because Stevie kind of has that problem I'm going to highlight for you. Very superstitious. Writings on the wall. Okay, now if I get a student, a singer that sings it like this, very superstitious, writings on a wall. What am I going to tell that singer to do? Am I going to just throw them some exercises and go, oh, just do the exercises? No, because some of the exercises are going to exasperate or make that problem he's got worse. What is the problem he's got? Right? Very superstitious. What's the problem there? The problem is the larynx is raising up, and because the vowels are too wide. That's the problem. So if I tell him to go, he's going to do it like this. Like that. And it's going to yank him. So what's the thing I'm going to get him to do? I'm going to get him to do this. Oh, I'm going to get him to work the very deep ooh vowel, right? Because I got to get him to learn how to stop widening to go higher and instead to narrow. And then finally from the ooh, once the ooh works good, because he will have trouble doing the ooh. It's going to be hard for him. Once that starts to work, then we move to ooh to other vowels. Oh, and then I go, okay, now you can do that R vowel, but it's got to come from the ooh position, meaning it has to have the qualities of the ooh into the R. And the way you have the qualities of the ooh in the R is to make it come from ooh. For example, if I train a singer like that, who just had the problems I indicated, I wouldn't get him to do the E like this. E, that's the same problem he got, right? I'll get him to do it from the ooh. So I get him to sing an E through the lips of an ooh position and just raise the tongue up to get the E, the middle part of the tongue, okay? If I do the whatever vowel you come from, you inherit that vowel. So if I do an A vowel and go to an E, what's the difference? The E vowel can come from two different vowels. The E vowel can come from A or oo. If I come from A, listen to how different that is to oi. See, it's different from hey, oi. See how the ooh E is actually a bit deeper and the A E is a little bit wider. And so you got to train both, but where I get someone to start is different for the individual depending on the problems. That's why with my singing course, I actually assess your voice when you get the course, and I go, okay, show me how you sing, and I can tell you where you got to start and what things you got to be careful of. Every course out there, you buy it, they throw some exercises at you and some videos, and then it's like, see you later, and you're like, oh, okay. How do you know if you're doing it right? Because you just got to pray that you do it right. Otherwise, you just wasted $300, right? So with my course, that's not the problem. With my course, I'm there to actually tell you, I actually give you feedback regularly. Once a week, I'm there to post recordings for you, to correct your recordings. And you can see, I can go, okay, you were off track here. You got to do it more like this. And sometimes if it's not in the course, I have to give you customized stuff because some people have issues that aren't addressed in the course, and I got to give you customized stuff for it. So that's it. The voice is very individual. Okay. Avenged Sevenfold, Afterlife. Okay, we'll put, whenever I do a song example, I'll go to that song. Okay, so I've never heard the song, but I'll give it a shot. Give me if I don't do a great job on it. So the reason why I want to do different song demonstrations is because I get emails, right, or whatever, comments from people, and they'll say stuff like, and other coaches get the same thing. Like I'll see them, you know, people will be like, oh, you know, I like to sing metal, but you're only singing R&B, so I don't know if what you're teaching is going to work for me. But here's the thing. I used to do a lot of metal, and then I'll get posts from R&B guys going, oh, you do a lot of metal, I do R&B. I don't know if that's going to work for me. I'll do a video where I'm singing loud. I'll get a comment like, oh, but I don't want to just belt all the time. I want to sing thin, so I don't know if that's going to work. I'll do a video where I'm singing thin, and I get an email going, but I want to sing really loud. So I don't think that's going to... So it's like whatever I do, it's going to alienate someone. So I try to show different things. And at the end of the day, you got to realize that the singer you want to be is not the singer that I want to be, okay? Here's the thing. We're all our own individual artists, and the direction I want to take my voice and sound is not going to be the same as where you want to take your sound. But the key here is I know how to train different styles. I know every teacher says that, but I really do, because I sing so many different styles. I sing rock, I sing metal, I sing R&B, I sing pop, I sing gospel, I sing, I'm not saying I do all of those things great, but I sing them enough to understand what is needed in those sounds and what carries into those sounds and what doesn't carry in those sounds. Like, for example, R&B, you don't want to sing that genre with a really spread position all the time, okay? I see that a lot by rock coaches when they try to sing R&B songs. For example, let's go to an R&B song. Let's go Brian McKnight, okay? King of R&B. After the Love, okay? You don't want to do it like this. And this is how I mean, like, people will be like, oh, you know, singing technique carries over to anything. Good technique does, but there are some things you have to understand about the genre. You can't just go in there. Like, have a listen to this. I don't want to sing it like this. I thought that love would conquer all. That's the technique that you would use for rock singing. It sounds rubbish in R&B, right? You've got to have narrow vowels. I thought that love would conquer all, but nothing could break my fall. The moment on the side, however it goes. So, whereas if I go to Avenged Sevenfold, I don't know the song, and I haven't studied it, but let's see. Okay. See how it's wide? Like if I sing it clean, like walking into a dream. See how it's all wide? Like walking into a dream. It's all wide vowels. Like, walk. It's all on the R vowel because the R gives you that weight and the loudness which makes the style work. Okay, so different genres, it's the same vocal technique, but there are certain sounds that aren't, that if I sing with an R&B tone over that, it won't fit in. Like if I go, like walking into a dream, for that, right? It's not suitable. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to say here. So let me see. Okay, we got a question here. Am I dragging chest voice or am I mixing? Here's a video of me going up to an A4. If I go higher through my voice, if I go higher though, my voice breaks. So I'm thinking it is not my mixed voice. Well, let me have a look here. He's put a clip. So I'm going to have a listen and I'll tell you what's going on. Am I my mixed voice or dragging chest? Let's see.
If I'm mixing properly, so I'm going, oh, mama, I just want to know, is that actually my mixed voice? Am I actually my mixed voice? Or am I straying? I'll do it one more time.
No, you're still in chest, bro.
See, I crack sometimes.
Okay, but here's the thing. You're in chest, but remember how I said you shouldn't bridge until the A? This is where you can start fooling around with bridging. Now, one problem you've got with your voice is your larynx is actually coming up. So the advice I'm going to give you, it may be more complicated than this because like here's the thing. If I'm training you live, I can give you something and you try it and then I can hear how your voice responds to that. And I can go, okay, so that's not going to work. We've got to do this first to get that to work. Okay. So here's your destination. You want to get here to here, but you might try something and then go, it's not going to get me here. So I've got to move over here and try this first to build this up. And then when I come back and do it, it's going to work. So sometimes vocal journey can be complicated, but here's what you've got to do. Here's what will help you. Try this. Try skipping. That's actually your chest voice, and you that's fine. Try skipping that and starting on the high C and pressing your lips together like this and letting the top note kind of flip like this. Mom, 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 mom. But at the same time, you want to kind of cry into the sound. So I make my voice kind of like this, like a little boy's voice. And then I keep the lips together while I'm doing that. And I try to hold back my breath. And you'll notice it will sound thin and kind of falsetto-y, but you can hear it's actually connected. Mom, 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 and take it down to the G sharp. Mom, 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 right? In the G sharp. Mom, 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 mom. See, I'm back in chest now. That's where my voice should be doing that. The A, mom, 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 mom. See how it went kind of wobbly on the top? That's where it needs to bridge there. Okay, so the A is going to be your toughest note for now. You're going to find the C5 actually easier because your voice will want to release that. If that doesn't work, you're actually going to need to do some other things. But if that does work, let's say that does work. The next step after that, once that's smooth, is to take off the M's because the M's are giving you a helping hand. So you want to go, mom, mom. This is mixed voice, what I'm doing right now. Can you hear it thinning at the top? Excuse me. Ma. Now watch, here's A. It's going to be the same. Now watch what happens in the G sharp. Here's A. Ma. See, it's basically falsetto, but it is connected. It's different than going ma. It's a different sound to that because that sound has no pressure in it. There's no support. This sound, ma, that's got compression. That's got this feeling into it. Now, when I get to the G sharp, listen. Ma. See, it goes back to chest. Now, your voice will probably do that. As this gets really strong, as it gets stronger, your voice won't transition like that on the A. That transition will actually move up to the high C. And all this is going to feel like chest. Eventually, this transition will always be there on the high C, but it can get so strong that you don't even notice that it's there. And you can actually pull chest through that, which is belting. And you can get it even higher, up to like the E5. It depends on the person, but if you do it right, if you do it wrong, you will break down the bridge. So never break your bridge. What I mean is, if it's light, like what I'm doing, and here's the thing, man, I had laryngitis and I lost my voice. So that area that I just did there, I only just got that ability back to do that like 2 days ago. So there's no way in hell I'm going to start shouting and belting through that, because it's going to break off and it's going to cut me off and I'll have to build it back up again. So you let it be wobbly and thin, and you just keep going over it every day, and then try singing over it lightly. And when I say lightly, I mean just enough pressure for it to stay together. But if you go too heavy and it breaks, you got to be careful. So you got to just take it, and just teeter totter. So sing in your chest voice and then just hit gradual notes that go up to the A. Like, for example, we'll try my own song because it's got an A in there. So that's the only one I can think of right now. So if I go like the chorus, you see, I don't sing my own shit. So right. So if I go, how's my song go? Wake Up Call, the one I just did before. Like, yeah, that's it. So that's so if I go like, a moment of stillness means clarity. See, I went kind of thin on that top note. A moment. That's an A4 up there, I think. Yeah, it's an A, right? I'm not going too big into that sound yet, because if I do, I can feel it, because I haven't fully recovered from my illness. It's going to cut me off. I'm going to go back in chest. But when the voice is strong, this is why it's called a bridge. The voice you'll be able to roll a tank over that bridge, instead of like a little girl walking across and it breaks under her feet. You'll be able to roll a tank across that. So yeah, you're doing fine. Just be careful with that larynx. You want to work a lot with the oo vowel. Okay. So I would have you do scales like this. So and as you come up high, you're gonna feel this happen. Don't do that. You gotta think more as you go up. See, I went to but I'm not lowering my larynx. Don't think of it like that. If you do, you're gonna lose the clarity. You gotta keep the clarity in the sound. Instead of the larynx lowering, you want the larynx to tilt. That's the key. You won't see it tilt, you won't feel it tilt, but that's what's happening when you're mixing. So I hope that answers your question, bro. So we've been going a while here. It's almost 2 hours. So let's say, Morgan, do you teach distortion, and should you only learn that when you can sing well? Yes, I do teach it. You got to be careful with distortion, because you have to have clean belting down. You have to be good at clean belting. If you try to learn distortion without clean belting, you won't be able to do it convincingly. It will sound really stupid. Okay, it will sound like this. Yeah. And actually it hurts to do that, because I don't have pressure in the sound to take the strain off my throat. And that doesn't sound like grit that you hear in any song. Okay, that hurt my throat. And so you got to have clean belting down. Yeah. And the yeah vowel will help you a lot at first, because the has a lot of twang in the sound, and it's easier to get the grit on that sound. So, and higher is easier too, because the voice needs to have pressure in the sound. This is why I said you got to have a hand of clean belting. If you can't clean belt without strain, don't even think about distortion yet. The way I distort though is an intensity thing. I make it louder and louder and louder until it distorts. And I hold my breath in a way that doesn't hurt. The distortion I do though is different than, there are different ways. There's like a vocal fry distortion that's possible. I can't actually do that because I've never trained it. I could probably learn it to teach it, but that's not something I'm interested in for my music. So I would train distortion with a yeah sound. That's how I've helped people get it before, the type of distortion I do. So for example, you want to start kind of high, like not too high, but kind of in your upper middle chest range. So let's say the F, that's probably where my distortion is going to safely come out and sound convincing. If I do it too low, yeah, it doesn't really sound convincing. Right, but if I go, yeah, it sounds more convincing up there. right? I'll do it with a yeah vowel, and you just hold your breath and go yeah, 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 yeah. I probably shouldn't be doing this because I'm just recovering from my illness. And there is a fatigue that you will get from distortion if you haven't done it in a while. And since I haven't done it in like a month, it is fatiguing on the voice. The first time you do distortion will fatigue you, even if the technique's good. But here's the thing. If the next day it still fatigues you, something's wrong, okay? If the next day it still irritates you, something's wrong. The first day will always irritate you. After that, you shouldn't feel it at all. It should feel like just a rumbling on the soft palate. Always on the soft palate, never in the throat. Okay, next question. David Kang, should you ever be straining while training, like a little tightness in the throat? No, never. It will happen as you're learning, but that's not, you don't want it to happen. That's what I'm trying to say here. But it probably will happen while you're learning, but you don't want it to happen. Is this Q&A going to be saved? Yes, it's going to automatically go up to YouTube, so you'll be able to watch this later. Okay, so the take on the chorus, wherever it may take me, I can hit that note easily in the morning, but after practicing it, the big all. And okay, let's have a look at this. So we got a song thing. I don't know why, guys, but you guys can't appear on webcam here. Google said that it was possible that you guys could come on webcam. Let me have a look here. There must be a way to get you guys up on here. It's weird. It's like you guys aren't even here. Showcase. Maybe that's it. This feature is disabled. Chat. It's really strange. If anyone knows, I have no idea why you guys can't appear up here. Okay, sorry to keep you waiting. So I'll get back to the question. Okay. So we've got a song here. Where are you guys watching? Are you watching from YouTube directly or actually on that Google Plus page? Because that might answer my question about why you can't appear on webcam. Next time we do this, I'll really see if I can get this sorted out. If you guys are enjoying this, can you just like give me a say something and let me know if you're finding this Q&A actually helpful or interesting. Okay, so let's have a look. Here's a recording of me singing. I can hit the take in the chorus, but after a few times it starts straining where I didn't. Let's hear it. So we're gonna go. That's a okay. There's a problem right there. That's in your throat. You can't hit your all like that. Through it, that's down there. Remember when we did the lesson? How'd you get that? You've got to really get the soft palate up. That's the issue you're having, man. I know this isn't the word that you said you're struggling with, but the problem starts from here. You have to get the soft palate up. Through it, see, it's clear. That way the resonance can go to the head. If I want it narrow, through it, I still do it in the same way. I just cover the loops. The inside is the same, the mouth's open. So I really want you, this has always been your problem, that I want you to really work that vowel. That's, at least for you, that's the biggest thing for you, because you tend to over cover your sound. Like listen to all the lower stuff. Like you can't hit a resonance. It's kind of covered. To my head. It should still be a ring in the tone. Okay, so that's what I would say. Let's go to the later parts. The take isn't the problem. I mean, it is there, but it's actually those parts are the bits that are killing you. And you've got the same problem on the take as well, but that's the issue there. It's a soft palate issue. You're getting your resonance muffled down here. So you want to get more up here. Okay. Okay, let's see what's next. Okay, let's have a look. Okay. All right, here we go. Here's a good one. Namgil, thank you for answering the questions. I have one more question. How do you know when you are doing something wrong or damaging your vocal cord? How do you determine this based up, especially when you practice alone? Well, damaging, well, this is kind of hard to answer because you got to think. You have to know what you're trying to do and what it sounds like when it's done properly and what it feels like when it's done properly. And if you don't have that knowledge, you're just not going to know that. So if you don't have access to proper information or proper mentorship, then you're not really going to know the sounds that you're meant to be making. Like most people will say stuff, oh, if it hurts, you're doing it wrong. And I mean, that's common sense, but it can go further than that, man. Like I actually lost my voice a couple like years ago. I actually completely lost it. And it had nothing was hurting. Nothing was hurting. And I Google on the internet, no information, right? The information on what I was doing wrong, non-existent. All I got was the same generic rubbish that you're going to find on the internet. Don't strain, don't push, don't, if it hurts, you're doing it wrong. That's the same old kind of crap, right? Here's the thing. There are some subtle things that you can be doing wrong. One thing that's a big one, neck tension, right? Sometimes it doesn't even hurt. This one. See the sternocleidoid mastoids, these long muscles, if they kick in when you sing, they will damage your voice. You will start to lose your voice. It won't hurt either. You will actually feel that these muscles help you sing higher. You will feel that it helps you because they're actually pushing your chords together, but they're doing it in a crude way that makes them rub and inflame. And when they inflame, you'll notice you can't hit the notes. And then you will feel that you've got to push to hit them. And when I say push, throw air and add more strain. They will swell up. You can get vocal nodes. Those actually caused me to lose my voice at one point. Another thing is if your voice doesn't have that demonstration that Carlos did where I said the resonance wasn't coming up and it was like, oh, that is not a healthy sound. It probably doesn't even hurt, that sound. Let me play it again. Sorry to use you as an example. Okay, guys, so you don't know, Carlos is actually a really good singer, and he's got a shitload range. You've got to give him credit for manning up and showing him a take that he knows is probably not up to his standard. And it takes balls to do that, man. There's all of you guys here, and he's posted a recording that shows himself not doing things perfect. So, you know, it takes balls to do that. So give him credit. The link's not playing. Yeah. That sound there, that is not healthy for the voice. I'm sorry to be calling you out. Like, I'm not calling you out. I don't want to use you as an example like that. But Carlos is really good. Now, that sound will start to irritate the voice. It won't cause vocal nodes or anything, but it will just irritate you enough that you won't be able to get the consistency in your voice because the voice will swell up. The voice is very resilient. So I don't want you fearing vocal damage. Like, you shouldn't fear vocal damage because chances are it really ain't going to happen. But at the same time, you may not, there are some things that are bad for your voice that you may not even know because they don't even hurt. Okay. So that's all I can really say is if you want to learn this stuff properly and have the voice under your control, you get together with me, either one-on-one lessons or my singing course. The singing course, you will be educated on how to know the sounds. You should see the guys in my group. They understand the voice way more than anyone speaking on any internet forum out there, and more than half the coaches out there too, because they understand these things now. Okay, so that's my answer. So let's keep going here. So we go. Any other questions here? I'm not seeing any. Oh my God, can I finally ask a question? Well, where is your question, Eric? I'm not seeing your post anywhere. Your question is, can I ask a question? The answer is yes. So ask away. No one's holding you back. Okay, so here's Jay. Hi, Phil. I am not worried about the voice being connected. Falsetto is fine. I just want to sing in a very light voice from B4 to B5. E5. We'll just do it. Like, if you don't care about falsetto, just do it. Like, I don't understand the issue there. So, let's see. Othman Malik. Hi, I'm the person who asked about the chest dragging on mixed voice. Yeah, I remember that one. This is a bit of a general question, but should I be singing in that chest voice up to G sharp 4? Is it safe to just keep singing these G sharp 4? Yeah. I mean, be careful of that high larynx sound that you were getting. That's why I said do it more like this. And as you go higher, modify your mum. Don't sing mum. Sing it more mum. Mum, 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 mum. So mum, mum. Think more mum. That would take you in a better direction. Mum. And then on the A, predict that transition is going to be there that I talked about. So the C5, you can skip that and go C5, and you'll find it'll be easier. And that's how you'll work for now until your voice, until you can make that area seamless. It will sound a bit falsetto-y, but it will feel a bit different. It will feel connected, because the difference is this. This is a very small difference and very subtle, and it confuses a lot of people. And there are some coaches that are confused by this. And I see coaches who go around like this and they go, oh, he's bridging the head voice. And they'll be like this. It's like, no, that's actually you going to falsetto. That's not connected. You won't be able to sing full voice like that. Like, for example, if I sing through it, that's what's going to come out if you do that approach. So you're actually, the point here is you're crying through the sound, and you have the intention of it not flipping. Like, in your mind, you're not anticipating it breaking, but you allow whatever happens to happen up this high. This advice you've probably heard before, but you've been told to do this too low. Let it go, let it flip. If you do it below this area, it ain't going to work. So I would do it on a high C. In your case, those of you hearing me say this, this may be different for you. Okay, so it's different for other people. So up here, see, it's actually connected. I'm putting it in the place of where falsetto would be. If it clunks like that, that's not connected. But if it clunks like this, see how it's slightly clunky there, but it went through and it was the same voice, that's connected. It's light, but it's there. Okay, so let me keep going here. Thanks for the feedback, Morgan. Thanks, bro. Okay, so here's one from Eric Williams. I have recently started taking voice lessons. Although I have noticed my range has increased drastically, I don't sound as great as I want. Try singing a song and I just get frustrated and want to give up. This is normal. Just want to sound good. It is normal, because working scales will make you, the idea of scales is not to make you a better singer, because it won't. What it will do is it will make your voice function. Okay, it'll make the voice start to function as an instrument, a full instrument. So, wow, my eye is like really lazy here. I gotta get back to my eye exercises. So, by the way, if anyone's got a lazy eye like that, you can cover the strong eye and look through the weak one, and it will fix the problem. But the problem will come back if you stop doing it. So I'm going to do this for a while. So, and look into the distance when you're driving the car, you know it. Okay, so you actually, I don't know if you were here at the start, but we talked about phrasing. That is where you learn how to sound good. Studying songs, imitating artists. Every teacher out there is going to be like, don't imitate singers because you're going to become a carbon copy. In your dreams, you're going to sound like Freddie Mercury by copying him. What a problem that would have. What a problem that would be, huh? Would that be such a big problem that you sounded like Freddie Mercury? If you sang a lot of Freddie Mercury songs, would that be a real big problem? I don't think that would be a big problem. I would say a lot of people would be happy with that. That's never going to happen though, bro. Okay, so copying someone is not going to make you sound exactly the same, and people aren't going to go, "Wow, you sound like Freddie Mercury." Fuck you. They're not going to happen. Okay. Here's the deal, though. There is a danger in copying artists, because, like, I used to copy Michael Jackson, and I picked up some bad habits from him. He's very staccato the way he sings, and I got too staccato in the sound, and I tightened up in the throat the same way he tightens up, because he's like that. So there are some issues. However, when I say imitate an artist, this is how I want you to think. Don't try to copy them. Try to copy the things that they are doing that will make you fit in on the song with your voice. Okay. So for example, I'll show you a singer I don't sound anything like, but I will try to fit in with their singing. Let's go Frank Sinatra. I sound nothing like the guy. Okay. I'm going to try to fit in with him. Fly Me to the Moon will do. You got to study singers. So if you got to sign up for my mailing list, I got a 20-minute video on how to do this for free. Go to my website, growtovoice.com. Make sure you put the dashes in there, because there's another vocal coach who, I won't go into that. It's trying to steal my website somehow. Okay, so I sound nothing like Frank Sinatra.
Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars.
So for example, okay, if I just don't listen to him and don't study him, it's going to sound different, you know? What if I sing it like this? Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. I'm not listening to him. It doesn't sound right. I'm hitting the pitches, but it doesn't sound right because I'm not listening to how he's singing. Okay. So I'm never going to sound like him, but I've got to do the things he's doing that make it fit the song. Okay. Have a listen here.
Fly me to the moon.
So I'm going to fly me to the moon. Let me play among the stars. And so you see how that fits in a bit better? So what am I doing there? Okay. How do I do that? What you do is this. You listen to every single word. Have a listen to this. Let me practice that by itself.
Let me play.
Let me play. Let me play. Let me play. You see how I practice it over and over? Because if you don't do that, you're going to sing it like this. Let me play. Doesn't work. Doesn't sound like I'm singing the song. Let me play. All right. So let's go. Let me play. Let me play. You see how it fits into the song now? All those tiny details, those are called phrasing. Most people don't do these things. This is the difference between why you hear a singer and you're like, man, he just sounds so good. He's got the best tone. And you hear another singer hitting the same pitches and you're like, sounds like a karaoke singer, right? That's the difference, is those details. You have to literally copy the details of many different singers. If you only copy one singer, yes, you will start to sound too much like that singer. But if you copy 5, 6, 7 different singers, you will develop a unique sound. So I hope that answers your question there. Okay. Oh, okay. I think that's all the questions here. Yeah, how about we wrap it up there? So that's been 2 hours. That's been long enough. So that's all the questions there. And cool. So I hope you enjoyed this webinar thing, Q&A thing. And I'd like to do this more often with you. And yeah, so if you're not signed up to my mailing list at growtovoice.com, do that, because I have things in there that I don't even send to on my normal channel. If you have any suggestions for anything, don't hesitate to contact me and reach out. And if you want to learn all this stuff and finally take control of your voice, either get my course or start taking some lessons with me. Okay. The quality that you get with me is something you're not going to find with anybody else. Okay. And that's not like a marketing thing. You can try everybody else, and then come to me, and you'll see the difference. So that's that. Best of wishes. I really enjoyed your company. Thank you for asking questions. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And I wish you a good day. Okay, take care, and see you next video. By the way, the reason why I haven't been making videos is I'm just waiting for my voice to come back. I've got some videos I want to make that are really detailed, and I just need my full voice to come back. It's getting closer, but it's not quite there yet. Okay. All right. I'm just checking if there's any other major questions here. All right. Take care. I'll see you later.